Anyway, so I'm sitting here kind of brainstorming since I'm taking care of all this shit around here. And I'm thinking about genetics and human potential studies and, you know, a whole list of shit, actually. Actually just hit the record button as I was just going through half of another list here. And I'm just like, shit. Because, if I'm going to record something, I'm going to have to do a first or second take before I do sometimes. One more thing people don't know. Fucking swear. Anyway. So, without further ado, 90 days is all it takes for your DNA to change. Just by habit and food intake, in fact, the type of food you eat, sleeping habits as well. There's 3 variables. So plus the fourth variable would be the environment you're in general. So like I was saying, it's like, okay, what happens to a boar? I mean a pig when it goes wild, right? It turns into a boar basically. So think about it. There's still a little bit of a rainstorm going on, but think about it. What happens to the human after 90 days in the bush? And I'm not talking about a human that's trying to drag their environment and terraform. I'm talking about a human that becomes one with their environment. Okay, now you can see where my hybrid theory works on that. It's a hybrid theory because it has 2 different principles that have a Venn diagram. Ever heard of it? Anyway, yeah, the noise level out here is so bad it's glitching my camera. Imagine how it feels to be an epileptic out here. Not to digress too far. Yeah, that's what I mean. Anyway, like semi-trucks. I grew up super legit, so take it into concept here. 1 second. So I'm trying to first take. And sometimes at this point, first take, second take, and third takes are all going up on there. So if it seems like I'm repeating myself, it was probably part of the same one I was trying to do and said, fuck it, I don't know, I don't have time. Just get it all up there, just get the content up. So that's the damn truth behind that. Anyway. So anyway, human potential studies. So, like for instance, I've got crazy good night vision. Like, it was starting to scare my friend at how good my night vision was because I'm sitting here splitting wood, with this and a hammer knocking on it. Here, check it out. See how I flatten the metal at this point? And I've got to resharpen this side. So, it's dull at this point, but yeah. I had a file, I don't know what the hell happened to it. I can use the in-between of the hammer, but it's gonna be a pain in my ass to see. So, or I can try to find me a rounded rock, something, or I can go with the straight flat rock if I can find it. But yeah, you can kind of see why I'm human potential studies on top of natural development of skills. That's independent discovery. So, as a human being, I've noted one other thing. My temperature, thermal tolerance, yeah. Let's get a little bit more technical, scientific of a lexicon going here. Thermal tolerance between hot and cold definitely is seasonal based. Because it's right about this time. But then again, one other variable. See why I do variables and constants as my scientific method. One more variable is the fact that in this time, in the springtime, it's my most dreaded season only for one reason. That's when it frickin' rains and it suddenly gets cold at the same time, so it just penetrates everything. The water just gets right in between the dang Ziploc baggies, everything, I swear. I've seen it. If you don't have, yeah. It's oh no, it jostled in my pack and opened up just one little micro bit and suddenly just was enough for the steam to get in there, expand the bag a little bit, and then open it up a little bit more. Gotta love thermodynamics, right? So anyway, not to digress too far. The human body has another organ across its entire... We basically have a fucking spacesuit on. Yep. It's a membrane in between, right under our skin and in between our organs. This is also why I don't use alcohol wipes often. They tend to just constrict the... Anyway, there's a whole... Like I said, 90 days to change your DNA. So not to get that far to digress, yes. And in other words, I'm trying not to digress, but also I'm trying not to get too technical, not to blow your brains. So, I'm trying to be, layman's terms in the best I can. How about that? So, there you have it. If I sound different, it's probably because I'm trying to speak to you in a different language. Anyway. Alright, because it might as well be. Anyway, that basically does touch base, by the way. Human potential sound is a variable as well. So, imagine 90 days, and if you know traffic studies from like Department of Transportation, and what traffic noise does to people's brains. And then add in some carrier band frequency level shit. So imagine that, where you can almost see what you can hear at that point. It's so loud out here I can barely see. It has its... Anyway, I think that's right, the human evolution and potentials. Like, I don't burn as easy. I have to be careful with my friends, because apparently they burn easy. And, I almost have to say, my human friends are more can burn easy. They burn and freeze easy. How this becomes reverse studies, I'm like, imagine my shock. You hand me a coffee at that temperature, I'm going to call it a baby coffee. Now just throw some ice in it and finish it off, would you? Make up your mind. Anyway, brought to you by Planters. Not bad. So, imagine what happens when I turn around and start studying my friends as literal human. Well, hold on, remember 1 second here. Back step one more. I actually reclassified humans as an animal. Think about that. You got human superiority complex, so maybe they're just territorial. I don't know. You got breed tendencies, everything. Eugenics can eat their hearts out now. As I relinquish a little bit of my enlightenment onto you. No, my enlightenment, no. Let me enlighten you is actually the proper way to put that. My enlightenment? No. It's technically from me, and... Never mind. Fuck English sometimes. I made a pencil. Take notes. Anyway. No one understands that plumbing. But anyway, where was I at? Anyway, before I make too many jokes here. Let's smoke a little bit of the last little tobacco I found on the ground. Without it fucking up on me, of course. Clean this thing 1,000 times over. And I can't just knock tobacco on the ground for this one. I'm almost out, by the way. I am out. I've got dust. That's about it. Whatever I find on a semi-rainy day too. So, heaven on earth type bullshit and that. I ain't spiritual like that, ladies and gentlemen. I would see it more on a scientific level, kind of like it's a frequency that you're no longer allowed to look at, or you don't have access to, effectively. So, the kingdom is all around us. All the biblical poetry. They're talking about physics. Like, how is gathering water below, first off, dividing water, and one side is one charge and the other is another. Apparently it's fire above. Plasma reference? Maybe. Anyway, above the heliosphere. Now, energy and mass and density is as simple as right there in Genesis. Energy, waters below gathered together to form dry land. See? So mass, density, or matter, mass, and density, effectively. Matter, mass, and density. The formation of matter. Materia, density, and mass. Anyway, and space it occupies. What if I only have one drop of matter? What do? I divide that bitch infinitely. Now it's the law of proportionality.